Eddie. Eddie's been waiting 9 months for this power supply and this little thing that I'm going to do for him. 9 months. He's been waiting for me to get around to this. Well, Eddie, it's finally happened, bro. Here it is. Your 200 amp, 100 amp continuous duty, non-regulated, non-linear power supply with an EPD 100 amp continuous duty transformer inside. Eddie asked me about, 8 months ago and says, man, I want one of your big iron supplies. I'm like, dude, I don't like building those. And the main reason I don't like building them is because the transformer is so heavy and the cabinets are so thin that when this thing gets shipped, I got to worry about the cabinet getting bent up in shipping. So to counteract that, I put 4 feet down here on the bottom around the transformer, and there's a piece of foam in here, and you'll see it. Eddie, I'm going to shoot this as part 1. Part 2 is going to be this. We're going to heavily modify this X-Farce. We're going to heavily modify it. Make it right. We're adding a couple more transistors to it and doing a couple other little fun things. We're going to do that tomorrow. But man, right now we're going to focus on your power supply. So brother, like I said, we've got an EPD 100 amp continuous duty transformer in here. And once again, instead of using a big breaker on the front for a switch, or straight out of Radio Shack little switch on the front, we used ourselves a contactor, the way it should be done. Honestly, should never switch all the current through the switch in the front. Shouldn't. It should always go through a contacting unit in the back. Anyhow, at least that's the way they taught it to me when I was in school. Went ahead and used studs. Now, the day has come and gone to where these have a place in my shop. I started out in the beginning because this is the way the other guys used to do it. And after having a lot of failures with these and massive disappointments in these little pieces of shit, we went another route. So instead, we're using 100 amp stud diodes mounted to heatsink, which are held in place by a piece of Teflon underneath pressure. So these are fixed in place. They're not going to move because they're held by my pressure, individual pressure bars. Pretty straightforward construction. I went with a piece of angle up here metal, aluminum, to carry the current across the electrolytics. And aluminum will help carry any heat away, but it allows a significant enough amount of metal that we don't have to worry about any overheating or loss of current at that point. Now Eddie, he didn't want stud mounts on the back. He didn't want to have bolts. He wanted to have a piece of wire. He wanted to have wires with an Anderson clip on it. So that's what we did. The other thing is Eddie says he wants this thing to glow neon blue. He wants to be able to see it from space. Well, we're going to make that happen. First little bit is we took the meter apart and backlit it with blue LED. Now I'm going to do the same thing inside the cabinet. There's going to be blue LED like you've never seen inside this thing, but we're going to put it on a switch. We're going to put it on a switch because I don't know about you, blue gets hard on your eyes in the dark. It just does. So, anywho, 100 amp continuous duty, 200 amp surge transformer, 200 plus amps worth of stud diodes gets us on our lowest tap. Now Eddie, listen to me. Listen. I've already got these set up. Black is your mid tap, yellow is your high tap. And what I mean by that is when you get it from me, you're going to have the red wire attached, which means it's going to do 14.95 to 15 volts. No matter what you attach to it. We're going to turn this into a 2x8. This will probably put out about 14.7 volts with the 2x8 pulling off of it. Okay? You want that to go higher? Go up to the black wire. You're going to cut that heat shrink away. You're going to slide it right down there in that pole. Right right down there. Take and coil this one up, cover that wire up. Now if you want it to go up even higher than that, now that'll take you to about 15.5 volts. Almost 16 volts by going to that tap, under a load. Or going to that tap. Now when you go to the yellow tap, homie, I'm here to tell you, this thing puts out 22 volts at a resting current, and it's going to put out 18.5 volts underneath a load. Being that the Toshibas, and that's what's inside this box, are $65 a unit, I strongly suggest you leave it down on the red tap. But I'm not in charge of you. So if you want to, you can hook up that yellow wire. These are going to be sitting down in here nice and neat, all coiled up for you. All you got to do is take the lid off and change the hookup point. And it's going to put out a whole lot of jizz-ma-jazz. Right now, this thing is in its stock configuration, just the way I received it. And we're going to drastically alter this. Like I said, we're going to go to a 2x8. But right now, as a 2x8, we're on the 2x position. So that's reading as a, well, guess what? 2,000 watt slug. That's our current voltage inside the box. We're keyed. Hello, BBI. BBI, BBI, hello, 1900 peak power on 14.9 volts, and that's out of a non-regulated supply. Eddie, I'm going to start ripping this apart tonight. I'm going to drill it out, I'm going to mount down 2 more transistors, I'm going to throw another transformer in here, change the output combiner, change the input splitter, change how the coaxes run, do all your positive wire upgrades, do a bunch of other stuff in here. Probably remove this little fix cap because this thing will burn up, and go to an output tuning tube and get you dialed all in. I bet you we'll see about 24 to 2,500 out of this by the time we're said and done. And that's on a low tap. Brother, part 1. All right, let's get on with the show. Part 2's a coming. Eddie, part 2, my friend. We've completely gutted your amp. Started over with some stuff here, but the main thing that we did is we added an output tuning tube with a doorknob. And we put everything so it could flex and move, instead of hard soldering it down like they did for years, which ended up being a problem, come to find out. It's all good. The other thing I noticed, Eddie, is I'm sitting here looking at your amp, and I noticed you didn't have any Class C chokes going to ground. Remember, bud, you got this sideband delay, but don't use it for sideband, use it for low dead key, which if you give this thing 1 watt, it's more than enough to get it to latch. So, is what it is. We went ahead and we added another 2-pill section for it. So now this is an 8-pill, straight 8. So it's 2 driving 8, 2 2290 Toshibas, driving 8 2879s. Not 2879 equivalents or like 2879s, like I seen on somebody's webpage the other day. I about fell over when I read that on somebody's webpage. I'm like, really? You can't even offer them the real part anymore? Anyhow. Real Toshibas. These are not all that hard to get. All you got to do is be willing to pay the money for them. We changed your output combiner and we redid your input splitter. It's now 4-port. This is single stage. So that means there's one level of splitting and one level of combination to combine the circuit. We did the 12-volt upgrade. And we went in here and we redid your fans. Now, we flipped these over so they're pushing air in, but of course X-Force, their grills for a lot of years, the fins on them were so fat that they made the amp just absolutely howl. So while I had it apart, Eddie, I went ahead and I stripped this down and put new chokes on here and put new Teflon wire, new heat shrink, and then I actually used solderable tabs for your grounds and the fans to make it work perfectly reliable for you from this point on. Went ahead and went over every nut and bolt, made sure everything was tight, and guess what? Good to go. So we got the power supply on low, and this thing is completed. You said you wanted blue LEDs. Brother, you got it. Now listen, I'm going to show you how this works on the low tap and on the medium tap. And where you choose to run it is entirely up to you. I've been running it on the medium tap and on the low tap. I have not taken it to the high tap, but we're going to show you what it does. So I'm going to put the tin on this thing, and this thing is going to be sealed up for the end of time. I'm going to put a little bit of tape on this to keep this tuning tube from moving. But when we come back here from this little break, I'm going to pause the video. This tin's going to be down, and we're going to focus on this because I know that I know I got this one right. We're going to go talk about this, and I want to show you how to set this up. So give me just a minute, slap the tin on that. We'll be back over here talking about this. All right, so tin's back on it. Now, we're going to leave the amp off for a minute so we don't have to listen to the fans run. Now, with the amp off and the LED strip off, this thing idles at 18 volts. Not a big deal. Turn the LED strip on, got the fan on, the voltage drops down a little bit, drops down to 17.87. Now, we're on the low tap, buddy. This is the medium tap. And then if we hook up this yellow wire, you go to the high tap, which should get you about 18.5 volts underneath the load. Now, all this does is this turns your meter on in the front and turns on this insanely blue. You said you love blue, so I made it all blue. That little blue light is brighter. I mean, I'll make it get cataracts, man. This crazy blue. So I put that on a switch. Like I said, we gave you long power wire, but now I got my alligator clips hooked directly up to the positive and the negative of the 12-volt capacitor bank. It comes over here and it feeds this voltmeter. Now, when I left this last time on part 1, we were doing about 17, 18 and some change, or 19 and some change. I think 19 and some change. Variables all the way open. And we got the Striker 955. Got a dead key in about 1.5 watts. Key in about 500, or key in about, what is that? Just short of 2. Oh, in the corner. So we're easily laying that peak meter in the corner. Once again, 1000 watt slug and peak, 1000 watt slug and average, 5 watt slug and reverse, 5 watt slug and reverse, and that 5 watt slug and reverse is from the Bird 10,000 watt dummy load. By the way, hey, just by the way, let me pause this for a second. I seen the video the other day of this guy, another technician, another builder, trying to show off something he just built. And he ran through everything really quick, like, okay, so runs over to his LP100. This is what I'm putting into it for drive, and then starts talking about the switches, and then goes over here and shows the watt meter, but never shows the slug. That's not right, you guys. You got to show the slugs. You got to show the customer what you're doing. Otherwise, whatever you're trying to sell, upsell, show off, demonstrate, represent, talk about, is null and void. Unless you're willing to show all the cables going in and out of the box, coming in and out of the watt meters. I can criticize, because I've listened to every single one of you guys criticize me about this. I seen some horrible stuff the other day on a video, and all I could do was laugh. I was like, wow. And he wants people to try and take him seriously. Every single video I do, I show the slugs, I show the coax, I show the voltage that it's on. If you're not willing to do that and show the inside of the box, it doesn't count. Who knows what's inside this cabinet? If you're not willing to open up the cabinet and show them, who knows? Just saying. But then again, us Johnny-come-latelys, as one guy refers to me, what do we know? We're just setting the standard for everybody else. And we're the standard to which everybody else is measured at. Ego, it's a powerful thing. Rub up on another builder's ego and it's a powerful thing. I got another guy out there, he's just worked up. Cannot stand me. That's good, that's right where I want him. I worry very little about other people. I got to worry about all this stuff I got over here to take care of. Okay, now that school's out for all the other builders that watch my videos, I'm speaking specifically to one guy, and I think you know who you are. Step it up, dude. That's why everybody's laughing at you, but nobody wants to tell you to your face. Got to show the slugs. 5-watt slug in reverse back from the Bird 10,000 watt dummy load. 5-watt slug between the Striker 955 and the BBI rebuilt X-Force. Just saying. So we're going to kick this puppy on. That's on the 2,000 watt scale, so 2 times. Hello. Hello, BBI. Hello, BBI. It's on a nice, safe voltage, 14.3. But we've exhausted our ability to be able to see what we're doing because the needle's going off the scale. So we're going to click that down to 5x, or otherwise it's reading like a 5,000 watt slug. 1,000 watt, 2,000 watt, 3,000 watt, 4,000 watt, 5,000 watt. Everybody got it? Cool. Let's make sure we turn the amplifier back on, back to listening to the noisy cabinet of airflow. Hello, audio. Hello, audio. Hello, audio. We're seeing 22 to 2300 out of this thing pretty consistently on 14 volts, which is exactly what it should do. No parts are getting strained, no $65 a piece transistors are going to get burned up. It'll run for a million years. But Eddie, what I wanted to show you what we can do is go to a higher tap. We'll shut that off. We'll shut this off. Let the caps bleed off. And by the way, don't freak out when you turn this on. That contactor's pretty aggressive. Pretty aggressive. You gotta dig that block and choke. Look at that thing's huge. Alright, we're gonna let the caps bleed off, and I'm gonna take this wire and I'm gonna attach it to that contact point on the contactor. We're gonna recoil up the red wire and I'm gonna show you what the difference is. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay. So we now hooked up the black wire and we've come up a little bit in volts. It's now idling at about 19. Okay. As represented on the voltmeter in the front, it's almost pinned over in the corner because we're at 19.6, almost 20 volts. Now what we are going to see is that the voltage overall has come up 1 whole volt of power. And you're going to see how that affects the output of this box. What? Low audio. Now we're seeing 25 to 2600 out of this thing. Hello audio. Hello audio. Hello audio. 1 whole volt. 1 whole volt gets you about another 200 watts. Eddie, it's up to you, brother, how you want to run this thing. It really is. I'm going to ship it to you on the mid tap. I think you're going to be fine there. If you want to go and change it, I'm not going to put any seals on this because I know you're going to want to open this up and show this off to everybody. You told me that was your intentions. I'm just going to let you run with it. The only thing that's going to be different is I'm going to zip tie up a couple of these wires, make this a little bit neater, and close the tin. We'll be right back to wrap this thing up in just a second. Eddie, bro. Oh, I forgot to do one thing. Hold on. Much better. Eddie, brother, I appreciate you, man. Auto TLC went into making this for you, my friend. A lot of time, a lot of effort. I'm going to put down here, you know, what it is. I can go on the back and label positive and negative if you want me to, but I think you're alright since there's no studs on the back. Just strain reliefs. Brother, you're in top shape. It's a beautiful thing. Appreciate your patience. Appreciate your opportunity to let me build both of these wonderful devices for you. I've sure had a lot of fun in the last 5 years since I've been doing this. Building a lot of fun stuff. I got a lot of neat, cool stuff that nobody else has ever done before coming out, like 50-volt mobile where you don't have to modify the electrical system in the vehicle whatsoever. Feed it 12 volt and it just takes care of it. That is some neat stuff. Completely unbreakable amplifiers. Stuff that you can key without the antenna and the part does not care. That's coming out here pretty quick. Please everybody stop calling me for a price. They'll be up on the webpage. I don't know. I'm still in the research phase and I'm getting real close to being done with it. Get this out of the way. I got a 16 pill that's coming up that Dave made that I've got to finish out. Got it working, but I got to finish it out and shoot a video of it. And then I got a bunch of new build stuff I got to kick off on. 24 pill and a couple 6 pills and 8 pill, and I get to build a waterproof amplifier. That's coming up next. It's one of the things that's getting ready to come up next. An 8 pill that you can throw in your bathtub and still key. Yeah, building that for a buddy of mine that's an off-road guy. A special ops guy of mine, a buddy of mine. I don't get to be here without all you guys. I don't get to do this cool stuff without your all's support. And I say this at the end of every video, and I hope that you understand truly how grateful I am to be here and be doing these things. I don't talk trash about other builders. I don't ever say anything negative about any other person, and I guess that's probably why I am one of the busiest shops on planet Earth. That, and I always answer my phone. Well, I don't always answer my phone. I always return the calls. It's hard, guys. It's hard to get this stuff done during the day, plus work a full-time job, and be able to answer the phone whenever you guys call. I do my best. I appreciate your all support. I appreciate everybody's patience. And I'm just going to keep on clicking these boxes out, one after another. As one of my competitors says, he's just a Johnny-come-lately. But the Johnny-come-lately is building way pretty stuff and doing a lot of cool things for the radio world. There's a difference between a guy that builds his business and a dude that buys it. Just saying. I built mine. My name is BBI. Without a shadow of a doubt, I am the biggest mud duck in Idaho. Come check us out, www.bbiamps.com. Come find me on Facebook or just call this number right here. I'll get to you when I can, I swear to Christ. I'll do what I can. Appreciate your all support. On to the next project. Appreciate you, Eddie. Thank you. I'll see you guys.